Karl, have you ever logged on to Friends Reunited? It was the site that everyone was talking about last year.
No.
Are you aware of the concept?
I've heard about it, but there's no one from school who'd want to see it again, really.
So basically, for those that don't know, you have to log on to his website, and then you can it helps you track down your old schoolmates if they've also logged on and stuff. And we sort of took the liberty, really, of looking on the Friends Reunited site and typing in your school and trying to track down any of your old mates. We didn't get in touch with any of them, don't worry.
We didn't do that.
We're not going to surprise you with them now.
No.
But I was just interested to know, like, some of your thoughts on some of the names that I could run past you. I mean, these are people from your year. Just tell me if you recognise the names. Alison Birch?
Think I remember her.
What's your thoughts on her?
Don't
be libelous.
Don't be like, no.
No. Posh, probably did pretty well in history and that.
Sarah Morris?
God, yeah. Remember her.
Go on. You're grinning. What's the thought? Go on.
No, just, she was alright. She was a popular one.
What does that mean?
She was nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, what about, Darren Buckley?
He was one of my best mates.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What do you reckon he's doing now? Do you still keep in touch?
When my mum and dad were still in Manchester and they had a bookie shop, he used to go in because the bookies was next door.
I love the way you paint a picture. If you did this in your history exam, Karl, you will walk it.
Go on. So your parents had a butty shop, there was a bookies next door?
Yeah, and he liked having a bit of a gamble, so he used to, I think he works for some insurance company.
Do you think that his fiancée Beth knows he's got a gambling problem?
Yeah.
Or that his 2-year-old son Lewis?
No!
Yeah, they live in Cheadle Home.
Hume.
Cheadle Hume.
He must be doing well.
He's still supporting the Blue Army and frequents the shrine on a fortnightly basis.
Funny thing with him is, right, when I used to stay over at his house, and his dad was a copper, and I remember his dad came down and said, right, I want to see you two. I was like, oh God, what's happened? And got us round the table. He said, do you know much about drugs? So we were like, what's all this about? So he goes, you know, they're not good for anyone, you know, the stupid thing to get into. And we're like, yeah, we know. And he went, you know, do you? We said, yeah. He said, what's this then? And he'd found something in his bedroom, and it was a Skittle.
What, the sweet?
You know, little sweets with the S on it. And
oh, really?
Drugs.
Yeah.
So he said, well, yeah, it's a Skittle. Yeah, I know what it is.
Oh, he was bluffing like that as a slang word.
Yeah, he thought because he was a copper, he probably had to be down with all the terms and that. So we said, oh, it's a Skittle. And he said, yeah, I know what it is, but what's it doing in your bedroom?
Oh.
And it was like, no, it's a toffee. So, Darren there.
Yeah, I know, it's a toffee, it's a squib, it's a, yeah.
Karl, more people from your, past. Debbie Carr?
Yeah, she was another nice one.
What does that mean? Is that a euphemism?
No, she was one of them that you'd sort of go, she's nice, but she'd never be your girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? She was,
not really.
Even though she was in the same year, she seemed a lot older.
Right.
And like,
wasn't a teacher, was it?
There was 3 of them who all hung together, and they seemed to hang around like the older kids, the ones who looked like men. Do you know what I mean?
What did you look like then?
Well, it's just that I had youthful sort of looks, whereas like the older ones had like beards and stuff.
It's a gang of boys in the 5th form with beards. Were they smoking pipes? Going, come over here, me filly. Oi, Debbie Carr, come over here, you little beauty.
No, but she was like...
I love that. Hanging around with beards. There's the big boys. Oh, fishing. Lovely beards.
I can see a whole row of George Bernard Shaws. Brilliant.
How do you do in history, boy?
Yeah.
Think on E. You're an idiot.
Oh. They were like, you know, I'd be there sort of punching people in the arm.
Oh, that's a great game.
Oh, I love that, punch people in the arm.
Is that part of the Olympics now?
it's I think it was exhibition this year.
Right.
But it's
going to be a pro next year.
It's going to be the Winter Olympics because you got to do it in just a cap sleeve shirt in winter. Yeah.
So you're also playing that?
She, but whilst
she didn't appreciate that. She used to go, ow!
No, I always think whilst I was doing that, they were like the Charlie's Angels and they'd be sorting out a mission somewhere. Because they were really like, there was something about them that you thought, you know, they're special.
They were private detectives.
What if they work for a man they never see?
Okay, well, here's a name I'm interested in, because, well, let me just tell you the name first. Adam Clifton. Oh. Go on, what are your thoughts on Clifton?
He was one of them kids, he was alright, but he had that thing when, if you didn't have enough milk, he had like wrinkly hands and like white bits in his nails.
Oh,
because you didn't have enough milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, you didn't like him because you didn't get enough milk.
This is not to be confused with the two people with the big heads and the webbed feet, is it?
Webbed hands.
Well, this
Well,
was
I
interesting.
know that they weren't related. They must have been somewhere along the evolutionary sort of trail. Do you know what I mean? They must have come from the same sort of stock.
But you wouldn't have liked him. He's just one of them people. He was all right, but
Before you say any more, on Friends United, you can leave a little message which explains what you've been doing and what your life's like now. And most people leave maybe 2 paragraphs.
Right.
Adam, I've printed it off. He seems to have printed. I think there's about 6 pages here of stuff. He keeps updating it, and he just basically lists his memories about everyone. Okay, at the school and what he thinks of everyone. And he says, I often see Simon, he's doing alright for himself, self-employed illustrator, Mark Cooper, Karl Pilkington.
Right.
And your name comes up. Now, I don't know if you've told us this story, I think you may have done, but I can't remember the facts about it. It just says, Karl Pilkington, with his pet bird, was it a magpie? I can't remember. He brought it to school to show everyone, and it flew away.
Oh God! Oh no, they do that, don't they? You
True.
show them the
What was the story there,
You
Carl?
give them seed and they just leave. What do you mean?
Well,
This sounds like Kez.
well, that's it. I was a big fan of Kez, and it was the time our dog had just died.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any pets, and the cats were always getting run over.
Yeah.
And so we didn't want any more pets.
Yeah.
But there was a magpie that used to fly about on the estate, and I managed to sort of tame it. And in the end,
With a chair and a whip. What do you mean you tamed it?
Well, just used to sort of hang around it and talk.
But how did you
to it.
get hold of it? Did you catch it?
Well, eventually, yeah, it used to just come to me, and the annoying thing was, it got to a point when I wish I hadn't bothered, because it used to pop me bike tyres. It used to sit on like, if I was talking to my mates and I was on my grifter.
I love the way he just throws things in.
It's like an Alan Bennett play.
It landed on my tyre, and it used to peck at the tyre and pop it, and then it used to then never go away, so it was always like around the house, and my dad said never bring it in. So it used to sit on the porch, and I used to go out, and it used to fly down and land on my head, and it really hurt. It used to like peck and stuff.
He thought it was a tyre.
So it wasn't so much tamed as a stalker.
Oh God!
So you took it to school and it flew away?
Yeah.
So did you take it in proudly going, look at my magpie, oh!
Yeah.
Oh no!
I think it got a bit confused in the area that it was in, because I used to just keep it sort of around our estate, but
Sure.
the school was a bit of a distance away.
How did you get it there?
So, carrying it on my finger.
Did you walk?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was happy there, and then it got to...
But it used to be one of those things that people would stop me in the street and sort of go, oh, what's that?
And I don't suppose
Maggie, called it Maggie.
you didn't get Charlie's Angels to go and find out what happened to it? Investigate?
Were they impressed?
Not really.
I'm just going to tell the listeners there, Carl, this is quite a little insecure sort of chap, and he was just worried about that last bit. He was going, who would ever find that interesting? He was worried about people finding him boring. And Steve said, as I said, you know, it's like an Alan Bennett thing. You went, yeah, but, you know, no one would care about Alan Bennett if he wasn't such a hit maker. They wouldn't care what he had to say. And we just looked at him for a while, and he went, thinking of Tony Bennett. Bless him.
Listen, it's almost the end of the show, Carl.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really been a Carl special.
This is a Carl
hasn't
special,
it?
yeah.
Well, next week,
won't
we'll
be getting
lay
this
off you
much
next week.
We have to
We're
know.
not gonna,
he wants to retire a little bit, just,
Well, those old lottery numbers might come up tonight anyway.
You might, what are they again? What's the 4 you've got with?
Fuck my way now.
What, come on, well give us all 6.
No.
Why?
Carl, while you're rummaging for that,
5, 9, 12 and 26.
a few more names that you may recall from Friends United.
Go on.
Lisa Shufflebotham? Do you remember her?
Yeah, she,
Was she one of Charlie's Angels?
no, she wasn't that nice, but she wanted me. her and her mate Rachel, I remember, I don't know why, but it was some sort of PE lesson where it had to be a bloke and 2 girls, and they were fighting over me.
And
Could you hear what they were saying?
They were just like, I want him, and I was loving it. Stuck in the middle, and they were fighting over me. And then the next week, I thought I'll sit near them.
What sort of game do they play at this school?
I don't know,
That's an incredible game.
but I think
Punch me on the arm. No, punch me on the arm, Carl.
they just went through it. Because the following week, I thought, right, I'll sit near them again, because I quite enjoyed the way they fighted over me. But then they picked somebody else, and I don't know who I was with that week.
So you didn't get any action with Shufflebotham or a friend?
No. And then as she got older, she went a bit off. She's not that good. She's probably nice now. It's just, I mean, I'll say about myself, when you get to sort of the end of secondary school, you do sort of go a bit odd looking.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? When your sort of head grows funny.
I would just love to go back to his school of that era. I mean, just what happened to people, whether, you know, all people sprouting limbs.
No, do you know what I mean? When you're like 12 and that, you're quite, no, not 12, when you're 10, when you're 7 to 10, you sort of look healthy, and you look at your pictures when you go, yeah, I was a good looking lad. But then when you get to late secondary school, something happens, and you just look a bit odd.
Okay, well, what about Alison Thorpe?
Not sure about her. I sort of know the name, can't put a face to it.
Damien Comer?
Again, know the name.
Yeah.
Can't remember anything.
No.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Well, those are pretty much all the names I could find. We've had some interesting thoughts, though, and interesting anecdotes.
Yeah.
Anyone in particular that you'd like to say hello to that maybe listening now that
No, I think I would have mentioned Darren Buckley if you hadn't have brought him up.
Oh, right.
He was like me buddy.
Yeah. Did you ever see the magpie again when you took it to the school and confused it?
No.
You're joking. That was the end of it, was it?
Yeah.
So where did it go?
Probably to some other kid. Because I mean, actually, it probably got killed. Because if it was being that friendly with other people, some people might have took advantage of it.
In what way?
Well, there was a programme on the other week about...
What, in the way that Shufflebotham was trying to take advantage of you?
There was a programme on the other week about bear whisperers.
Yeah.
And some blokes got really friendly with a bear, and then when they were leaving that area where the bear was, they said, oh, we've caused a problem here, because there's some bear hunters coming in and moving into this area, and it's going to get a bullet if it acts like this, so they had to scare it away, and that's what I should have done with Maggie. I should have terrified it a little bit, so it wouldn't trust humans.
Just introduced it to some of your schoolmates, I'm sure would have freaked it right out.
Well, the ones with
maybe that was why it fled.
It didn't see. Oh no, it didn't see those two fellas with big heads and webbed hands coming towards it, did it?
That would have terrified anything. It's like a scarecrow, like two walking scarecrows. Listen, have we got time for a song for the ladies? What's happening? We've not really thought.
Quick then, quick, just do it. Thanks very much.
Well, hang on, no, we haven't lined anything up, have we?
I was going to play Mary Lawson and that for you. And then
is this going to be the final track?
It would be, yeah.
We've blown it. We've blown it on the Karl special.
We have indeed.
I'll play it next week. So Karl there's got an E at history in GCSE. Any history teachers, anyone who can help Karl out, I think we should try and register him and take it this June. So what's your homework for this week? You've got to read about Che Guevara, haven't you? The revolutionary leader.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know anything about him at all? Have you got any basis?
I just know that if you want to use his face on your business, it costs a lot of money. Do you know, like, if McDonald's wanted to have him as, like, instead of Ronald McDonald?
How does he do it? Once, right, in school, we had a French dictionary, and ice cold coke on the back of my throat, singing hello summertime, it's the real thing. Remember that? No! Oh, you will know. We translated that into French.
Is that the end of that story?
Yeah!
That's the end of the story?
Yeah. But I know it in French.
Do it.
But it doesn't make sense. We just literally did the word.
Go on, let me hear it. I can't believe you remember this.
Tres fois, coke, sur le derrière, mon gauche, chante bonjour, estuel jump, celebrate.
That's the only French you know, isn't it?
It's not even French! We just did it word for word, it doesn't make any sense!
Can you say another word of French? Can you quote
Le plume de ma tante.
Can you quote anything else? Is there anything else you can quote other than that? Is there anything else you learned at school that you can remember word for word?
No?
Nothing.
Le chat est sur le mur.
I don't just mean French, I mean anything. English, maybe a bit of poetry that you can remember?
Of course I can, yeah.
Go on, quote a bit of poetry for me.
Like what?
Whatever you remember.
Like through on the window breaks, it is the east and Juliet is the sun, the rise for sun and kill the envious moon, who was already sick as well. Anyway, what do you want?
Doesn't really count.
What? Shakespeare doesn't count?
No, because that's the rate, everyone knows that one.
Oh, go on, what then? What should I know?
The Windhover by Gerald Manley Hopkins. Oh, you can't do that one. I caught this morning's morning minion, Kingdom of Daylight, still thinking about Drawn Falcon and his riding of the high.
Hold on, no, we haven't done Karl yet.
Wait a minute, K-Man. Anything you can remember from school that you learned, that you had to maybe, memorise?
French.
Not necessarily French, you could be...
Anything you can remember. This can be anything you remember from school, apart from the orange stuff stops cancer.
Yeah.
It's not the cough that carries you off, it's the coughing that carry you off in. Weird things have happened to me when, I was living at home. And, was in bed one night.
Where do you live now?
No, but I was at my first home.
Your parents? Yeah,
my mum and dad's. So I'm in bed, and I'm lying there, and you know, you get that sense of like, oh, there's something going on. And I sort of look over my quilt, and there's nothing there. Thinking it's weird that So, turn me back on it. I'm thinking, I don't want to know. If there is something there, I don't want to know. Right? So I'm turning me back on it. But then there's like a really high-pitched noise, right? Sort of the hairs on my back are like going up a bit. And I'm like, oh, I don't like this. And it's the high-pitched noise.
You had a hairy back even as a kid?
No, but you know, everyone's got little hairs on them, haven't they? Everyone's got little tiny hairs on them and stuff. And I thought, I can't stand this. And I turned around, put the light on, legged it downstairs, right? And my mum's saying, what are you doing? I'm going, oh, I don't know, there's something up there. So she said, alright, then watch the telly. So I stayed up for a bit, watching the telly, went back to bed, the high-pitched noise had gone, went to sleep, get up the next day, Charlie from next door comes round, he goes, Hilda's dead, right? And my dad said, oh, when did that happen? I said, last night at 11:15.
Right.
That's when I was in bed.
So, what are you telling me for?
Because it's weird, isn't it? It's that thing of...
what do you think would be weirder that no one ever died at 11:15 when you were in bed?
No, but that's when all the weirdness was going on. That's when the tone was happening, my back was getting itchy and stuff. And
Coincidence.
And I went down and watched telly, went back up, it's gone and that, but that's when her spirit had sort of...
No.
Ah, okay, right, interesting. No, this is where we get into the facts.
So Hilda's spirit...
Left whizzing round my bedroom, because my bedroom was right next door to theirs.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, that's one.
Why do they whiz round when they die? Why do spirits whiz round when they die?
Because they're going, where am I going?
Are they?
And they're whizzing round, aren't they? Am I going down? Am I going up?
No, it's Karl. No, but I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah, but it's not going to be easy, is it? How do you think it works?
It doesn't work.
But once again, it's not proof of anything, Karl. Beyond the fact that you were a child in bed.
Why did your dad ask what time she died?
No, he just sort of, you know, what do you say to someone when it's awkward, isn't it? When someone gives you bad news, so you just think, well, what can I ask?
When?
What time
did that happen?
Sorry?
No, you just go,
exactly what time did she die?
My wife passed away.
Yeah,
what time exactly?
No, not exactly. He just said, that's bad. When did that happen? Like,
and he said, well, thanks for asking.
Quarter to 11. I remember. What did he say last night? Oh, that's weird, isn't it? Convenient, aren't they, all these stories?
Or is it? Or, yeah, I mean, it's either that's exactly what happened, Rick, or he's misremembering the actual
I don't know which one to plump for.
But I tell you this though,
go on.
You know, if we're talking about ghosts and that.
Yeah.
Now, Hilda.
Yeah.
Choose your bog standard old woman.
Right.
I hope that's on the gravestone.
I know, yeah.
No,
did you do the eulogy?
No, you know.
That's great. What can we say about Hilda? Bog standard old woman. Right, there's sandwiches at the bar.
That's the most insulting thing you could ever say.
There's nothing.
Let's just think about
Hilda
that.
lived her life. Thank you for coming to celebrate the life of Hilda,
Who died at 10:45 specifically.
and was a bog standard old woman. Are we burning or burying?
But anyway, she lived to be quite old.
Which annoyed you?
In a bog standard way.
But this is what I was saying about us all living too long and stuff. It just makes it worse when it does come to us being a ghost.
I don't know what you're talking about again.
That sentence made no sense.
Just, if you are going to be haunted, right, say, I know you're going to say, well, I don't believe in them, so I'm not worried, so don't be going on about it. But say, like, you know, your new place that you've bought, you move in, and you go to bed, and there's something moving about the room. You see it, it's a ghost.
Oh no.
Okay, let's for the sake
More
of
likely, a Siamese cat called Ollie.
No, because that's probably got its own room on it. But what I'm saying is, would you prefer to have an old person moving about looking at you, or just a young person? I'd prefer a youngish person who looks normal and he's sort of floating about, and you go, all right.
That looks normal, floating about.
No, but an old woman would really scare me. And ghosts are always going to have a bad reputation because they look scary because they're old. So that's...
You talk absolute shit.
That's all I'm saying. So
Can you believe we ever charged for this?
No, but look, if we are going into another life, right, after this...
Which we're not,
we move on to another life.
Yeah.
We're not going to move on. That land, say if it is like another world, where we go and we plough fields and we grow
Croppage.
We grow crop.
Crops.
Crops, if you want.
Yeah, well, I would like to use the English language.
Yeah, but there's too much fruit about, so just a crop, just something we need to get back.
Fruit about. He's got an answer for everything. So we grow some crop.
Yeah. So you grow your crop, and now if we're all going into that other land or world or universe, old, who's going to do the cropping?
Oh God! Oh, I've never heard so much crop in my life.
It's a load of old crop.
Would you say you've learnt stuff from me in the past few weeks?
Definitely. Definitely. Rather like a scientist learns from injecting mice.
Yeah.
No, but I've learnt from you about ants and stuff. I think every week, as weeks go on, I feel like
We're learning from each other.
I'm learning more now than I did when I was at school.
And can I just clarify?
Yeah.
You weren't raised as an experiment and you've escaped from a laboratory. You had regular upbringing in Manchester and that.
Yeah, I didn't go to school much because my mum and dad had a caravan.
Right.
And
No need, is there? No need when you've got that sort of fun at home.
I used to just go away for weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, honestly.
Where'd you used to go?
Port Maddock.
But
And, so you didn't go to school much?
No, I did, but not as much as everyone else.
no.
How many holidays were your parents having?
Oh,
What was their income that they could...
No, my dad used to work nights, and he used to travel back, because to Manchester from Wales it wasn't that far. And
Manchester to Wales?
He used to do 4 on and 4 off, so me and my mum were like loving it.
But what Port Meredith?
Port Maddock.
Port Maddock.
Down the road from Port Merion, where they filmed The Prisoner.
Right?
Oh, so that's cleared up for me.
Yeah,
Location-wise.
so what did you do then? You were in this little 2-berth caravan on the back of a Cortina estate.
Right.
Well, what was it? What was the car? I want the... what was
Granada, full Granada.
it? Full Granada. What we talking?
Oh,
1980...
Yeah, 82, 83,
80, right?
84, 85.
Okay. And you in the car, down there, park up.
Yeah.
What was it? What was Port Meredith?
Port Maddock.
Port Maddock.
I remember Ruth.
It's just,
Oh, yeah.
it's just a holiday camp,
Yeah?
and had an arcade and a beach. I was loving it.
Yeah?
But, so of the 52 weeks of the year, let's assume, I don't know how many weeks you take off normally for holidays anyway, let's just say, I don't know, you go to school 45 weeks of the year maybe? Generally, most kids?
No.
Bit less.
Bit less than
About
that?
42.
How many weeks would you say you actually spent in school?
Well, how many weeks do you have off the summer?
Well, we'll work that out, that's what
About
we mean.
6 off for summer, about 3 for Easter, about 3 for Christmas.
Put it this way, I'm surprised I'm not Welsh, to be honest.
Right.
So I was there more than I was in Manchester.
Did the school authority not come and check you out?
No, they didn't.
Didn't get Manchester, I suppose, they didn't care, did they?
Not really.
Yeah.
They're lucky you turned up at all. What did you just turn up for the last day when you could take in your best toy? Did you know that when you could take in any game?
Just play with everyone else's. Why, I break my stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a good
Well, this
point.
answers a lot, this does answer a lot. The fact that you spent most of your time on the beach as a kid.
Teachers were no good at my school. We were talking about it yesterday about...
So you were teaching them a lesson by going off for the summer. Yeah. And did you go to university?
No.
No. Did you go to sixth form or college?
No.
When did you leave school?
When I was about 15.
Right. What, you just went on holiday and didn't come back?
I just got a job early, didn't I?
Where was it? Port Maddock?
Getting there. No, I was a printer. BM Print in Trafford Park.
Well, that's great. That's a little interview there. So, would you like to start on your, to Steve, because I've heard all these.
Well, we won't do them all.
Well, we'll start off with the Mr. Freeze. Tell Steve the story of Mr. Freeze. This is the first time he nearly died.
This is the most serious of the lot, really. So, what it was, do you know, like, I don't know if your mum and dad did the same thing, but, like, they do the weekly shopping on like, a Friday.
Yeah.
So when you got to Thursday, there wouldn't be much stuff left in the cupboard. It'd just be like, your Jacob's crackers and stuff like that. So when they'd been to the supermarket and they came back, I was like, what's that saying? Like a pig in... I loved it. It was like loads of food coming in, loads of biscuits.
What is that saying?
He nearly said pig in shit.
Right.
Is that the same?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, all this food comes in.
Thank God he didn't.
Otherwise he'd have been in trouble.
That's true enough.
Because he's culpable for our actions, because he's the producer. So technically, that twat's in charge. Go on.
Right, so anyway, there's loads of food, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at this, and chocolate biscuits, and, penguins and stuff.
Bacon.
And bacon.
Just in case, you never know.
So anyway, my mum and dad's putting the food away. Me and our kid are like, he's already grabbed something, gone back upstairs.
It's like feral children. It's like a quest for fire. And then they run upstairs. What did you sit under the bed, gnawing at some sort of pig's trotter?
So I saw, do you remember Mr. Freeze Pops?
I do, yeah. So they're kind of like popsicles, icicles.
Yeah, but really long, like a foot long, right? Yeah. So I thought, I'll have one of them, so I grabbed it.
Went for the nutritious stuff first.
Absolutely.
And like my mum and dad are putting the stuff away and what have you. And I rip it open and knock it back, right? Straight away, just right back like
Swallow
that.
it straight away, yeah.
But it went down the wrong way, right? So I was
down
like,
your shirt?
So I was like, oh God, I can't breathe. And my mum and dad didn't even know what I'd ate. Do you know what I mean? I ate it so quick.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of tapping my mum on the back, going, and she's going, oh God, you know, he's choking again, because I was always choking. If there's one thing, I don't know if I've got like a small throat, but I mean, even Ricky knows I can't drink that much, can I?
Yeah.
Do you know,
or eat pebbles.
I'm not a quick drinker. I'd always, I think I'm scared of like swallowing stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like bottle tops and mint imperials and stuff. I was always choking on stuff.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway, she's going, oh God, what's he picked up on it now?
Drop it!
So,
and hit his nose with a stick.
So I was going, I'm choking. At this point, my dad had I think he'd put his share away, you know, his food away, and he'd gone
his share! I love it!
Yeah.
He'd gone to watch, like, Winner Takes All or whatever in a lounge, and I was in the kitchen, and I was starting to, like, I didn't care anymore, do you know what I mean? I just got to that point where I wasn't struggling anymore.
You just thought, I'm done
I just
for.
was, like, falling to the ground. And my mum's going, you know, get in here, I think it's serious. My dad comes in and sort of starts shouting at me, saying that's what you get for being greedy. He didn't even know what I'd eaten.
Well, it was the moment to teach you a lesson, certainly.
So he's there like that, and my mum's going, oh, look at him, and my lips were going purple, and my eyes were rolling into the back of my head.
You look like Marilyn Manson.
And, so anyway, she grabbed me from behind and did that fireman thing.
The Heimlich manoeuvre.
Yeah. And, you know, winded me. And it came up, and I was alright.
What, the whole popsicle came flying back out?
You see, that's what I don't understand. Because there was nothing there.
No, just a little bit. No, it swells up, doesn't it? Because it irritated it. So it went down your, just sort of like your epiglottis. It went down the wrong way, like went into your air canal instead of your throat, and it sort of it sort of spasms, and that's the fear. You just got to calm it down and relax.
So in time, I would have been alright.
Yeah,
anyway.
you don't.
Well, no, you might have.
So that's so that's
hang on.
one.
So, but
No, but the weird thing is, like, for like 3 days after that, I felt like a sort of special person. I went to school.
I'm saying nothing.
I did full days.
A special needs person.
Yeah.
I went to school the next 3 days after that. I didn't like wag it or anything. I did full days.
I love that. 3 days, turn over a new leaf.
Exactly. After 3 days, you thought, screw it.
Yeah, did a quick history exam. Right, next one.
weird.
That's popsicle. That's popsicle hell, we'll call that. Right, next one.
Which one's the next one?
Oh, what about your paper round?
Right, the paper round one. Paper round, I'd still say it's the best job I've ever had.
And he means it!
No, I really enjoyed it. It's like, you know, you don't have to work with anyone else, right? So you make your own rules.
Just think of that.
You know, you sort of
You're spreading information to people, vital information.
Giving a service, and no one else is around, you know, you can just do what you want and think about stuff whilst you're cycling around on your bike. It's really good.
Yeah.
So anyway,
imagine the stuff he's thinking about when he's riding around his
I
bike.
can't. Oh, so getting in the head of a salamander.
So anyway, I loved it, and even though I only got like 50p a day, right, no matter what the weather was like and stuff, I used to get up at 4:30 and go and do the round. And
why'd you get up at 4:30?
Because I wanted to watch the Pink Panther at 5:30, so I wanted to get me paper round done.
I said, why didn't you watch the Pink Panther?
And then
he went, oh, I can't sit there thinking I've got my paper round to do.
He'll ruin it for him.
Yeah, so is it a good job or not?
So 4:30 I was up and about, and this morning it was like winter, really bad winter, bad snow, you know, freezing cold, really windy and all that. And my mum said to me before I went to bed, she said, don't be getting up tomorrow, I'll give you the 50p. I said, it's not about the 50p. So, you know, people want the papers and stuff. So,
conscientious.
So anyway, I went to bed thinking, you know, that's it, I've told her I'm still going, so, you know, whatever. Go to sleep, get up in the morning, and put all my kit on. And I used to have layers of clothing on because it was really cold. They had like a big anorak on with the fur on. I had like waterproof pants, and I got my paper round bag. And I went downstairs to get out, and tried to open the door and it was locked. I thought, oh, God. So she'd locked it so I couldn't go out. So I'm searching around the house looking for the keys. She must have hid them somewhere. I thought, oh, God, you know, I've got the papers to do. So I thought, how can I get out? So I went upstairs, climbed out of the bathroom window.
God.
Right, and to try and jump out of the bathroom window onto the porch. But the problem was, I had so much gear on, I was like the Michelin Man. So I could hardly move as it is.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get out the window, and I'm like, trying to stretch down like that, get my foot on the porch, and my bag got caught on like the hook of, do you know, like how you have a hook so you can put the window open?
Right, yeah,
the little arm goes on. My bag had got caught on that. I was holding onto the wall and my foot on the thing, so I couldn't sort of pull it away in case I pulled it away and then fell on my head.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck there.
Dangling.
My dad comes back from working nights.
Yeah.
He thinks I'm a burglar.
Gets out his gun.
So he's shouting and stuff, going mad and going, Dad, it's me. And he had to give us a hand using a...
He's heard that wily trick in Manchester before.
He had to help me using a washing prop thing. A big stick.
What did he do?
Well, he said, just hold on for your dear life, and I'll sort of push the paper bag off the hook.
Why didn't he go upstairs and sort it out?
It was at that point where I was in the middle, there was nothing you could do, do you know what I mean? It's at that point where you've just got to make a decision.
Yeah.
And by the time you got upstairs, who knows what might have happened.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to act there and then, don't messing around.
Yeah.
So
And you could hear downstairs, now here he is, the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Dad! Hurry up! Panther, ever so pink. Oh.
So that was close to death, because I must have been about 30 foot in the air.
So to cut a long story short, he gave me about 4 or 5 near-death experiences, and he went, and the whole point of this, he went, so that's why I think I'm gonna die of something horrible, like cancer. And I went, why? He went, right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
He said, well, I don't check my balls. Wait. He said, I don't like the feel.
Carl, always check your balls.
Do you
I
check
don't
yours?
like the feel. Why don't you like the feel of your own balls?
I mean, you know that I don't like bodies anyway.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It worries me a bit that you've got all that going on in your body, right, and your skin's keeping it all in place.
Stop. We're going down a whole other avenue of discussion. Let's play a track, let's come back to it. We've had an email from Andrew Forrest, who has just simply entitled it, Karl Pilkington. Oh, Karl Pilkington.
What do you think of that?
That's got to be your new name from now on.
I had a mate who used to use it.
What,
He used to call you that?
Yeah.
Was that your nickname at school, Pilkington?
No, it's not my nickname.
It is now.
No, it's not.
It is now.
Pilkington. Oi, Pilkington.
Oi, Pilkington.
Pilkington, do my homework.
Where do you live? Where do you come from? Pilkington?
No, there's this lad who called Mark, right, who used to go to school with, who used to call me that. And his mum, right, was like obsessed with cleaning. And I was never allowed in their flat.
He makes the place look untidy.
So she used to, I don't know if it was just me or all his mates, but I used to turn up and she goes, yeah, he is in, but you know what you've got to do? And I used to have to go round the side of his flat, and he had a computer, right, which I used to play. I didn't have one at that point, but he had one. And I used to have to go round the side of the flat and stand at his bedroom window with his window open, and I'd be sort of leaning in playing the game.
You are joking.
I'm not, his mum...
You had the weirdest upbringing I've ever heard. The things you were willing to do. It's the strangest. What is this town like?
No, I stopped going.
Was there always music? Like, there's the horse in the house there. Oh, look at these 2 kids with big heads and web feet. Alright, Ronnie. Alright, Reggie. What was it like?
She was obsessed.
It is like you've grown up in a cartoon made for children.
Yeah.
No, his mum was really obsessed with cleaning. Can
I play it through his window?
I used to...
Mrs. Ramsbottom, can I play it through Mark's window? Aye, you know what you have to do.
She used to be up till that.
Is that Pilkington again? Have you washed your hands?
Well, up till 3 in the morning, washing.
She used to be up doing the tiles in the kitchen.
Washing until 3 in the morning?
Until 3 in the morning. And for ages and ages, that saying that out on the tiles, I used to think that came from, like, his mum. Because she was out, like, cleaning them late. So, till I was about 13, I thought that saying, out late, on the tiles,
yeah,
was...
And now you're not confused by anything.
Well...
There's no misunderstandings in your life now, is there?
So what he was allowed to walk in and out of the house, was he?
Oh, he was alright, and he used to come round to ours a lot, and my mum used to get these pies from Hagenbach's, right? So...
I don't know what that is.
It's at that bakery where they used to chuck the cakes out the back, I'll tell you about.
Yeah.
Oh, when you at 6?
He loved it, but I could never go round to theirs, or if I did, it was like, well, yeah, he is in, and I'd go, alright, and then I'd walk round the side of the flat. Stand outside.
Why did you ever knock at the door? Why don't you just go round and knock on the window?
Just to check he's in, because he wasn't always in his room.
You say it was
in the lounge. He'd have to go to his bedroom, and then...
You to meet you. This is the strangest... And you'd play a computer game through the window.
You say it was a flat. It wasn't like a 5th story one, and you had to get in one of those kind of cleaning contraptions and, like, winch your way up.
I love the idea of that.
So.
Oh, Pilkington.
At the quiz, also discovered, of course, and, I don't know, I'm just intrigued to know, Carl, I'm just intrigued to know, it was your girlfriend's birthday, wasn't it? Earlier in the week? Or last week?
On Monday, yeah.
And, I mean, obviously it was a triumph with the stuff you got her for Christmas.
The condoms.
The box of condoms?
Box set of condoms.
Oh, yeah.
Not just the singles, the whole set.
Yeah, a complete collection.
Brilliant.
So what did you go for this
time?
What did you
get her?
Yeah, but...
No, but it's her birthday. How long have you been together?
About 9 years.
Okay, so, ooh, God, it must cost you so much.
No, but it starts getting tricky, doesn't it? Because I spoiled her a lot in the first few years.
Yeah.
So then
here's a packet of rubber bands, enjoy them.
Oh.
Well, it's what she wanted. Okay. I mean, you're making out as if...
No, everyone wants paper clips. Come on, what did you get her?
Got her a new pair of gloves.
Right.
Alright, well.
And?
What, nice leather ones from Selfridges or Harrods or something?
They were good ones, the sort she likes, so... They weren't...
Well, they weren't the little woolen ones that she had.
Yeah.
I thought that was a joke when she said he got me these, because I laughed.
No, but I know that's... The one she did have,
When they said it's his birthday, it was her birthday Monday, and me and Steve wanted to get her, and she went, he got me these, because she had those little woolen gloves on, I laughed, because I thought she was joking, Carl.
That's what she wanted. Right. I've told you before about buying presents.
Did those gloves have your name sewn in them? And a piece of string that ran over the back of your duffel coat?
You know, I've never been into getting presents and that. I had the problem at that Christmas one, that time with the Victoria Plum.
Yeah, we'd hate that. We'd hate to bring that back.
We've done that.
Because you talked about the book, because it's kind of to do with your dad, isn't it? He's a very bad gift buyer, was that the problem?
Well, yeah, my dad just wouldn't bother. It was my mum who sort of made an effort, and she sort of worked out half of what I wanted, then she left it to my dad to get it off someone, see if he could get one cheap or whatever.
I love the fact that usually people talk about, like, drinking heavily, or, violent abuse, right? Yeah. But here's what he's been left with and scarred with from parents is bad gift buying.
Yeah, and that's the Victoria Plum incident.
In the greater scheme of things in the world, that's not a bad thing to have, is it?
There was this, this is what it's like about getting presents and stuff, right? With my mum and dad.
Go on.
My mate, Colin, right? No, Colin Bailey.
Oh,
right? Yeah. He had a little Sinclair Spectrum, right? Yeah. Computer, which was like the thing to have at that time, right? Yeah. Used to always go round to his house. The deal was...
Not the one you had to play through the window, because you weren't allowed to...
No, that's another lad.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
This is a different lad, and the deal was, he came to our house, and my mum gave him a pie, and then I'd go round to his, and I'd stay there for a few hours playing, you know, Hungry Horace and stuff like that on it.
Sure.
Right? Now, my mum and dad knew that I really wanted one of these computers, right? So I waited about a year, came round to Christmas Day, I thought, I reckon, might have one. Turned out, they bought me the wrong one. They bought me a ZX81 instead of a Spectrum, right? And, Christmas Day, I'm there trying to load the games up, it's not working, I'm thinking, what's wrong, right? And the thing with me, when I was a kid, I used to get quite sort of agitated.
This is the moment.
Right? I found out that he needed a RAM pack to make it work, right? Looking in the thing, and it's saying, and make sure you put your RAM pack in the back. And I was like, oh, where's the RAM pack? And my dad's going, I don't know, I've got you the main bit. That's it. So, I was that wound up, I just was sick, right? Just sick. Oh, I didn't feel sick or anything, I just was like, oh god, went to the sink, just sick. because I was that on edge about it. I said, come on, we've got to get one. And my dad's like, Tandy's shut. We're not gonna get anything today. Ruined again, Christmas Day. That was after the year when my train set got blown up by our kid. The following year, no round pack. And now you ask me why don't I get good presents?
He's scarred. He just
I'm gonna die. Honestly, I'm gonna die. He's just being sick.
Yeah. There's no round pack.
Did you get to the bottom of it? Why wasn't there a round pack?
You have to buy them separate.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean I can't play Frogger?
Oh no.
So, wasn't there another incident when you threw up? Spontaneously threw up? Through sheer anxiety?
I do get it. It's not so much now, because I've relaxed a bit, but as a kid I used to be quite on edge all the time with certain things.
Do you think that's what happened to your cat that kept being sick? That it didn't get the food it wanted, and it just threw up? Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
God, so they shaved it.
Yeah, but again, you see, the cat thing, I mean, it's mad. I was thinking about it the other day, right? I used to think I had quite a normal upbringing.
You didn't.
Right, and someone was talking about the cat.
Your mother once told you not to go to school because it was windy, Carl. It was not a normal upbringing.
The cat was being sick, so she shaved it, so it was easier to clean.
Right, well, my mum and dad went on holiday, right, and I stayed at the Ross's down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Only a kid, must have been about 5 or something, right? And, I was always running around in the house. I had a lot of energy as a kid. What the Ross's did, they had this cat that was dead violent, the most violent sort of angry cat I have ever witnessed.
A tiger?
It was, honestly, Steve, if it was bigger it would have been, because it was just always having a go at you.
Yeah.
If you went to pat it on the head, it went to bite you and stuff. And what they used to do with it, to stop me running around, I'd sort of be running around, and then I'd get a bit tired, and they'd say, have a lie down on the settee. So I'd lie down on the settee and I'd nod off. And what they used to do, I'd wake up, and I'd put the cat on my belly. Right? So I'd be scared to move, because it's like it's going to get me.
But it would keep you there.
It kept me there, and it used to sort of slaver on me, and they'd sort of, you know, go out or whatever, and I'd be lying there. That's not normal, is it?
Carl, sorry, were you created by the Brothers Grimm for one of their fairy tales? What kind of a life is that?
A cat paperweight to keep Carl in place. He keeps blowing around. It's windy. We'll have to weigh him down. Be careful. Your mum probably told him that it's a windy day. You got to get something heavy on him, otherwise he just gets blown into the road. God.
Well, I didn't really want to make it a Christmassy type show, because I don't really like it.
Oh, he's done it again. What, you did Christmas once, didn't like it?
No, my dad always said...
Alright, steady on.
Dad said Christmas morning was for, like, you know, for me, so he used to stay in bed. So he never...
That's brilliant. That's a great thing to say, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Christmas morning's for you. Run wild. Do what you want. Just don't bother me.
I'm going to Honolulu for 2 weeks.
That's great. Dad, it's Christmas. Do I have to do anything? No.
So my mum used to get up, because she used to like to see my face light up, you know, when I opened my presents. And then,
used to give fireworks.
And then I'd have to go to my bedroom from about 6 o'clock onwards, because, like, my mum and dad were into having big Christmas parties, and I wasn't, like, old enough to go.
Right.
So they'd say, right, you know, you've had your fun there, you go up to your bedroom, stay in there.
Really?
Yeah, I remember one year, right, I got a train set, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Right? It's brilliant. Playing with it all day. I thought, I don't mind about the party, I'm happy staying up here, playing with this. Brother comes in, he's had a few, right, he's going, yeah, give us a go on your train.
How old is he?
He's a bit older than me, so he might have been like, let's see.
Well, let him be 18.
Yeah, probably about 18, 19,
and how old
something
were you?
like that. I had a train set, so, I don't know, about
14.
something like that. Yeah. Right, so I'm playing on that, loving it and stuff, and then he comes in and goes, oh, give us a go. He turns the transformer up to, like, 14. He went really fast for about 5 seconds, broke it, and then he went back downstairs.
Wow.
So Christmas, I hadn't even got to
Sounds like
Christmas Day.
the Conservative government with British Rail.
Satire, that is.
Rick, I just thought that there's satire. If there's any satirical shows listening or magazines.
It doesn't work in any way, because there's the analogy falls down, apart from there being a train.
Think it through, though. British Rail was trains.
Yeah.
And the government broke the trains in many ways. They didn't break them, like, not officially breaking them, but they kind of...
It does work, it's perfect.
Oh, I'm pretty pleased with that.
And I can't, and no one's asked him to be on Have I Got News For You.
It's weird, isn't it? Because it's strange, that, when you've got a satirical mind that's as quick as that.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
he's broke your little train set, and so what did you do?
I just like watched telly and had some sausages.
I bet you were happy with that though, weren't you?
It's a bit annoying though, isn't it, when your main present of the year's been broke.
And did it ever get it fixed?
No, that was it. Put away.
I'm intrigued why your parents wouldn't let you come and join in the festive fun. Was it like really debauched down there? Was it like eggnog everywhere?
Well, no, but I mean, that's fair enough. 6 seems a little bit early, but I just think, you know, if you're a kid, you know, he had his fun, put him to bed at 8 maybe. And
you think so on Christmas Day? I thought that was a day for family.
Well, not if there's a party going on.
Well, don't have the party on the Christmas Day.
Well, that's another option.
Yeah. Your parents are weird, aren't they? A strange breed.
Well, I think that was the year, right? You're talking about buying presents and stuff. I think I did treat my mum to. I didn't buy my dad anything. I think that was like when I got a bit older. I used to get my dad something because he wasn't that bothered anyway.
No.
So got me mum. There was a cheap shop, right?
Of course.
Thank God for that.
Called Snips. Right? So I went in there and I thought, let's see what I can get her. And remember Victoria Plum?
I don't think so.
Well, it's like a fairy character.
Right.
And my mum's into gnomes and stuff, right? So I thought, right.
She must be pleased with you then.
Victoria Plum. I was thinking, is that one of the neighbours? Is it like a brandy liqueur?
Do you remember Victoria Plum?
Victoria Plum?
Victoria Plum, yeah, it's like a little fictional sort of character, right?
Okay.
So I saw it, I thought, yeah, she'll love that, right? So I did my paper round, saved up for 2 weeks, right? Got that sorted, went to Snips, bought the Victoria Plum. Next day, I'm in town with her, right? So I think, I know what I'll do. I said, come in here a minute, right? So we go in, and we're looking around, and I tested her, right? I went, look at that there, that's alright, innit? And she goes, oh, it's bloody awful.
Oh, Carl. Oh, Carl, oh, God.
So then, Christmas Day comes, I said, don't bother opening it. She said, no, why? I said,
Oh, no, why did you still give it to her?
So, well, it's too late, I'd already bought it.
Oh, Carl.
So she opened it, and I was like... And she said, oh, that's nice. I said, why are you saying that? I said, the other day, he said, it's bloody awful. She said, oh, no, I thought you were pointing at something else.
Oh, no.
So that's why I don't get anyone anything anymore.
Oh, God! Play record.
When I did boxing at the youth club...
Once, when he did boxing, he fought once, he fought a little weak kid, because it was his first day, battered him. Next week, it was someone else's turn, and he got battered and he left.
Yeah, I said, right, I've had enough. But there was
yeah.
There was a ladder there that I had to work, right? And I decided after the sort of the first step, I thought, it's not for me, this.
Yeah.
But if you win, it's all kind of like, right, well...
Yeah, the world's your oyster.
But it's a programme. It's just a one-off programme, isn't it? It's like, it is like, you gotta treat it like faking it.
Yeah, but faking it, right? That little gay fella who ended up being a doorman, he's actually doing that as a proper job now or something. He loved it so much.
Do you seriously think I have any intentions of getting into the fight game and leaving entertainment behind?
Well, what's the point then?
What do you mean? What's the point in what's the point in watching television? It's entertainment.
Or educational. I watch it to sort of soak in information.
Well, this is educational. I'm learning a lot. I'm actually learning a lot, and I can't believe my luck. I've got professionals telling me, you know, hopefully how to lose weight and punch hard. That's just fun. It's like having golf lessons.
Right, but say, I mean, here's an example.
Go on.
It's a nice way to plug it. We've got Rockbusters coming up in about 10 minutes or something, right? Now,
look forward to that.
People email in, and they don't just do it for fun. They do it because they know they've got some good prizes lined up.
Right.
So they're doing it because it gets them something.
Yeah, my prize is that I've learned something in life. I've gone through an experience, and hopefully I'll come out in some way better if I don't get mashed. That's it. That's the prize. That's why we do anything, isn't it?
I think this is an example of you, Carl, is you give up too easily.
Yeah,
you know,
and
you gave that up straight away.
You think there's no point in anything?
I did Crusaders for I think I lasted that out for about 4 weeks.
What's Crusaders?
Well, he was my mate, right? He was religious, and I'm not really. But
no, I mean you believe in ghosts though and shadows pushing people off bikes. But go on.
But it's the same time. I think I told you once before that I went to the church with this lad because I swore, and he said he was going to tell me dad.
Yeah,
I was effing and jeffing. So he said, if you come.
Is that how they get people to church nowadays?
I love that little kid. Yeah, he hasn't got the idea of the protection game. No. There's nothing in it for him, either you turn to religion or I tell your father.
Right, so I went to church with him and that, and then the next week he said, I know that was rubbish and you didn't enjoy it. It's when I got kicked out for messing with a tennis ball in the pews, right?
I don't think we've heard that, but I don't think we could possibly go into that now.
Summed it up.
Yeah.
So,
Well, no,
come on, we'll come back to that. You had a tennis ball and some pubes.
No, in the pews.
In the pews, right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went there and I said, I don't think much of this church thing, it's a bit boring.
Sorry, and so you went to church and you ended up in the Crusades?
No, it's called the Crusaders. What it is, it's meant to be the fun part of religion for kids. Right? And my mate said, oh, you want to come along? It's, you know, you go on a Friday night and do it on a Sunday as well. Right, so I went on the Friday night, it was brilliant. They had Sabutio, played table tennis in this dead big old house.
And what do they do at the end? Say, I hope you enjoy yourself. Remember, God gave you all this.
Well, it's sort of, you know, enjoy the simple things in life. You don't need computer games. You can play table tennis and that, and talk with your friends.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that's alright.
I think you'd be happy in a young offenders institution. You get to clean the toilets there
But don't forget, Carl, I think God invented Nintendo too.
Right. Well, anyway, so that was alright. I loved it on the Friday.
Yeah.
And my mate said if you go for 4 weeks in a row without missing a day, you get a free badge. And,
and salvation.
I don't like all this sort of being stuck in stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's what I
don't get tied down.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, every day. Right, so, anyway, so you've got to come again on Sunday, so I thought, well, we'll have another game of table tennis, it'll be alright. Yeah. So anyway, I go on the Sunday.
Who was this servant of God?
Right. I go on the Sunday, it's like a totally different club, there's no table tennis.
That's how they trick you.
No Sabutio. Yeah. They start handing out Bibles.
Oh. And it's like a timeshare thing.
Hang on a minute, right?
They trick you.
So I didn't go again on Sundays. I used to just go on the Friday.
Just go on the Friday. Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm amazed no one else saw through that.
Well, the thing is, there used to be loads there on the Friday, so they won't even notice that I'm not, like, do you know what I mean? That I'm not showing up on a Sunday. So anyway, carried on, it was
just this kid in the vicar.
Oh, I love that. You got one over on the church.
So I was loving it, right? Playing table tennis and that. And then, on a Sunday, they found out where I live, and the head fella started coming round, knocking on the door.
It's God.
He's everywhere, Rick.
Why did he knock?
The fella...
Politeness.
The fella who, like, ran the club, he started coming around knocking on the door, and I saw him coming up the path, and I said to my mum, oh, it's the fella from the Crusaders. She didn't even know what I was...
No. She thought you were off nicking hubcaps and stealing cars.
She didn't have a clue what I was talking about.
You've been going to
church? I don't believe it.
Little bleeder.
That's not how we brought you up.
So, I said, look, just tell him I'm not in, tell him I'm not in, and then she had to keep doing this, and they were coming round every Sunday to try and make me, like... Go on a Sunday. It was really important that I went and that I was abusing the system and all this. Anyway, I didn't go, and then...
Why didn't they just tell you on next time we turned up on a Friday?
No, well, because there was so many people there on a Friday, you just get mixed in the crowd.
Right.
It was jammed. It was well popular on a Friday. Right? But anyway, on one of the Sundays, it was quiet for a bit, and they stopped coming round. So I thought, right, I can go out again, right, on a Sunday, because I used to avoid hanging around the house in case...
What sort of reign of terror is
incredible.
Right. So I thought,
it's like the Spanish Inquisition.
So I thought, great, they forgot about me. Everything, I can carry on in sort of normal life now. And I was playing out in the avenue, fella comes round, and he goes, there you are, you know, you're always busy on a Sunday, you enjoy Fridays and that, don't you? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, come on, you've got to come with me. And I couldn't get out of it. No. You know what I mean? It's like, what could I say?
Charlie says.
Right? Yeah. So, anyway, he nearly killed me in a car crash. So that was the excuse I used next time. He had a Mini, right? And he was driving us there, and he hit the curb, nearly sort of turned over the Mini. Right? There was like 3 of us in the back. So, I said...
Is that a record?
So... Next time he came round to pick us up, I said, look, really enjoyed it and that. I said, but ever since that journey, I really, you know, I don't want to get in the car with you again, because it scared me a bit. And I said, alright then, I didn't have to go again.
That's alright, isn't it?
That's extraordinary. Yeah. He almost killed you in a car crash.
It's a parable. Thank God no one was hurt.
Yeah.
I remember that
your life moves in incredible ways.
Yeah.
Rather like God.
Yeah. So, they're probably round there now, aren't they? Is he coming tomorrow?
You see, it's weird, because now it has got out of hand. Do you know what I mean? Like, years ago when I was growing up on the estate, you had problems, but not like you have now. Do you know what I mean? You know,
Summers were nice as well, weren't they?
well, right, and
Police are getting shorter and younger.
But you yourself kind of admitted in the past that you were something of a tearaway. You didn't do anything
but
like
never-
these kids
I mean,
here.
the thing is, I was scared that if I got caught doing it, my dad would go mad.
Yes.
And I remember smashing a car window by accident and legging it in the lounge and sort of pretending to go asleep on the settee. Right?
Genius.
And I heard a knock at the door. and I
Chloroformed
thought-
himself, just to be unconscious when his dad came home.
And there was a knock on the door, and I thought, oh god, this is a fella he saw me. I was chucking a stone in the air, seeing how high I could throw it.
Of course you were. Did it keep landing on your head? That would explain a lot.
And it came down.
Chucking a stone in the air, love
To
it.
see how far I could
It's
throw it.
brilliant.
So, you know, I wasn't bothering anyone.
Did you
by
invent that game?
that. Right,
Did you get the stone for your birthday? Go and play with your stone.
He gave one to Suzanne.
Carl, go and play with your stone.
The thing is, right, and it came down at a funny angle, and it
Of course it did.
It ate the back of this car, and the back window is the most expensive because it has that heating thing in it,
Yeah.
in case you got a frosty window. So I thought, oh god. So I legged it in, got on the settee, went to sleep, knocked at the door.
Genius. It's a brilliant plan. It's a brilliant plan. I couldn't be guilty. I'm asleep.
So
I love the idea.
So the thing is, our lounge used to sort of you could see in from the door, right? So this family who saw me do it saw me asleep on the settee, and my mum said, "Go and get the door," and I sort of went, "Oh," as if I'd been asleep, and went to the door like rubbing my eyes, and the fella said, "What did you run off for? I saw you." I was like, "Oh no." And I didn't see my dad. I went out. It was when he was working sort of evenings, so I went out so I didn't have to see my dad. And then the next day I came home from school, and my dad said, 45 quid. That's all he said when he looked at me.
And then you fell asleep when he went, wake up, you know what I said? No, 45 quid.
Now the thing
Carl,
is, he didn't have to do
£45,
anything.
Carl. Now, I know you were saving up for a brick, but you can't have it. Yeah.
just
Equally, if you're doing a bigger crime, you know, a bank job or a murder.
Remember to take the stocking off your head, because if they wake you up and go, why have you got a stocking on your head? Just go, oh, I had a weird dream.
Right.
Okay, look, a quick query for you. This is from Jay. He's got a problem here. He says, my parents won't let me ditch my studies. He's currently reading modern languages at London University. Sure. He wants to follow his dream, but his parents won't let him, of being a dancer. Carl. Worse than that, he says that they're trying to arrange a marriage to a bunch of minging daughters of people they know from good families. He doesn't know what to do, so he's got the arranged marriage coming along, and he's also got, you know, he basically wants to be a dancer. His parents are forcing him into something more practical.
Well, the first thing, right, I don't think
Live your dreams?
the arranged marriage thing is such a bad idea.
Okay.
Because I think too many people go on looks,
Right.
and then you soon get bored of that, and you find out the person who you're knocking about with is actually not your type.
Right.
Why don't you arrange marriages for people?
Well, I'm just saying, right, so I'd say, Jay, go along with that. I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
I mean, if they're really ugly, then, you know, don't go along with it, but if they're half bad, put up with it, that's all right. The dancing,
Brilliant.
right,
That's that solved.
Brilliant.
I wanted to be a dancer. After I did the boxing, right, I joined a dancing thing just near Man United's ground, right, called Twiggy's. Went along, I wanted to learn some moves. And
How old were you?
Well, it was when Michael Jackson was, like, pretty big, so about 83, 84, 85, something like that, around there. Wanted to do it. When I went, it was shut, and it had become like a warehouse for toilet rolls. So in a way, I wonder what would have happened.
Sorry, how is that an anecdote about you going through dancing? You've told me before, you did boxing for a while, you did dancing for a while. You had a true fight in the boxing, you didn't even get in the that's not an imagine if that was a film! This is about a boy's dream of becoming a dancer. Oh, it's shut. Next on. I mean, how is that a story?
Yeah, that was Billy Elliot. Do you think he would have won quite as many awards?
Yeah, brilliant. Footloose. Alright?
Yeah.
I'm fed up they banned it. Let's go. Oh, it's shut. Flash dance. First, there was. It's a warehouse. Never mind.
I'm just saying, you know, you'll find something else. I think I got a go-kart after that. I bought a motorised go-kart and kept myself busy with that. So. There's always other things.
Just think, Alan Bennett has to sit down and really sweat over his stories.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about this before, haven't we? About the cloning thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you're brought up that will change your features and the way you are, you know, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, but listen, right, because I remember when we, you know, I was growing up on this estate.
This is gonna be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right, who's a bit rough. Alright?
Didn't fancy her.
Oh, God, no. Right, but she had a baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. Why was she?
It was a very...
like being a man in a dress.
I mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything, and I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What does she look like?
But anyone can
Tattoos?
clean up.
Look like Tony Green with a fag on.
They didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which, even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make a place look nice.
Yeah.
Right? But she didn't, and a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry.
Whoa,
Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean, a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did they get a horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have done.
You've seen a horse in it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of...
Right? And,
oh, that's great. Big Jake, I'm looking for it.
I'd been out.
Oh. Sorry, let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after.
Where did he get a horse from? What do you mean he must have nicked it? His mum said, where'd you get that from? I bought it. Alright then. But keep it out of the kitchen.
I don't want you going Catlin rustling.
Where did he get a horse from, Carl? And how long did he have it for? Was he leading it or riding it? Mum, open the door, I can't stop!
I can't stop it. Open the patio door as well,
Looks like we got us a runaway. What do you mean?
I don't know, but the thing is, they couldn't afford to buy one because they're not cheap. So I'm just guessing. Maybe that's wrong of me. But I think...
He had a horse?
Yeah, right, so...
That's why the family didn't have any money, they'd spend it on the horse.
No, I don't think, that's what I'm saying, I don't think they would have bought it. So anyway...
Yeah, it's wise to whisper, Carl, in case they're listening.
Yeah, and
they could be in the room next door.
It's not buying it, it's keeping it as well. Oh,
so I was like in the car with my dad, coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round. And, and you know, sort of go back to our house.
You had the traditional method of transport, yeah.
And, the horse was in the lounge.
Reading a paper?
Just like walking around.
Oh, God!
What?
And when I was doing, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups.
What? This is genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean?
Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this. This story's going to just unravel and unravel. It's going to go on for hours. Let's play a track,
deeper and deeper. It's like an onion, isn't it?
We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse.
Just walking around the lounge.
I come from the West Country. I've never heard anything like that.
I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet and it's got a rediffusion telly and this horse going, I'm fed up in here.
Exactly.
This is really...
I am not taking the rubbish out again.
Yeah.
Right, play a record. Let's have Velvet Underground. We've got that lined up.
Oh,
yeah, the classic from the first album, I'm Waiting for the Man. Let's come back to the horse in a second.
So, we were talking, we were doing White Van Man, and, we got onto,
genetically modified babies, but
and
somehow...
then Carl started telling a story about someone with a horse, and then he got onto, he was trying to make money selling flowers. Just do the flowers briefly.
Well, hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was...
Because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
So the mother was a right pig, apparently. I don't know if that's relevant.
You don't need to go that far.
But
what I'm trying to do is, like, make a picture for you so you understand
what a picture it is. Who did she look like?
Bit of a, and no disrespect to her, bit like Pauline
Quirky, yeah.
Right?
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. I knew it was going to be Pauline. Did she have any tats? Did she have any tattoos?
I've never got that close to her.
Okay, alright.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her husband?
No, her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse?
Yeah, from, I don't know where, there was I think there was some stables down the road or something.
And they kept the horse in the house with them?
They kept it in the house.
Did they
didn't have it for long.
No.
So, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the horse in there?
No, what happened was, I was, they did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity, and they said you can do anything to raise money, and they came out with all these ideas, and I thought, that's good.
What was the charity?
Well, I don't know, I thought, forget the charity.
Yeah, that's just a good money making idea. So, you're a charity.
So, so I asked my mum for some, cause she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them? And, I'll go and buy some plastic cups. And, got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them.
Yeah.
Got a tray.
Yeah.
Had about 25 plants on it, selling them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
So did you just cut, you didn't just cut them and stick them in the soil?
Yeah, they want to survive.
Oh.
But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs, because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit rough. So as I went
The horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
So I got up to the door, and they opened the door, and it was one of them houses where no carpet.
Yeah. A horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
And the horse was walking around the living room.
Oh.
I looked quite happy and everything, because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty
right?
was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay, or in like a house with a
Central heating.
3-piece suite and a telly and that?
Telling you that!
No, but I was saying this the other day.
And an Atari.
Right? I was walking through London the
Commodore
other day.
64,
Yeah.
rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And
Yeah.
she said, "Oh, I hope she looks after it." I said, that dog is happier than most dogs.
Right.
Because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open. It's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You know what I
eat,
mean?
but other than that.
No, it does eat though. They're always all right. So that's what I was saying. I think this horse was doing all right for itself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
But anyway, that's what
by
we were
the
talking
by.
about. Yeah, so anyway, this family, who's a bit, what were we talking about? It was about
Genetically
cloning.
modified kids and all that stuff, yeah.
Right, now what I'm saying is, you could say, you know, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right? And Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that.
Yeah.
Right?
It could happen, Rick.
So,
Come on, work with him.
so you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do, they inject it with something or whatever.
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
And get a little baby, and there it is, it looks the same. Now the thing is, you separate, you both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right? Now, you look at Stephen, you look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well, you give it good food and
I'm
that.
a good dad.
All the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese. Right? So then it changes its looks, it goes a bit fat. You know, it gets tired easily, and that sort of thing. Now, when this family,
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
right, this family had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby, and my mum went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby," right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know. And the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying, like, abusing it, but it used to run around, it used to play out till, like, 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit...
Did it have hooves?
Yeah, no. Chase cars!
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh, God.
No.
Was it called Rover? Did it catch stick?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly and its hair was all patchy...
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
and chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's how you brought up.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Whoa.
Live.
Wow.
That was a hell of a point. Oh, God.
But am I right?
You're always right, Carl.
No, but that wouldn't. I've never been that lost when I'm walking across a field. At the edge of the field, I'd go, hang on a minute, this isn't right. I wouldn't get in the middle, I wouldn't go that far. I'd go, right, I definitely shouldn't be here.
You did once. You were in the middle of a field and your dad had to rescue you
Yeah,
and carry
that's
you
when I
through
was
the
a kid, because I was reading as I was walking. That's,
And he never read again.
but there's another sense. I was in the middle of nettles there.
Yeah.
I'd walked. It was at my brother's wedding in Cornwall, and I was walking near a cliff edge.
Reading a book.
And okay, so okay. Walking. Carl, I know you're enjoying this book. Can I have a word with you? Just look past the book a minute. There's a big drop.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened, and then that's when my other senses went, hang on a minute, I'm being stung. Load of nettles and stuff. And I just had to wait there for ages until my dad sort of thought, where's Carl? I was there for about an hour and a half.
You should have book. fuck me like a cartoon.
But why are you wandering off reading a book when it's your brother's wedding?
No, this was like, we were in, I think it was St Ives in Cornwall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in St Ives, and just, you know, it was a nice day and that. There was no telly in the place. It was a horrible house. It was haunted. Actually, no, honestly.
No, not honestly. It wasn't haunted. There's no such thing as ghosts. So you saying honestly it was haunted means fuck all.
It's the weirdest place and weirdest sensation I've ever had. I spoke to a woman called Mrs. Battersby.
Right.
Who sat on my bed keeping me up all night. My mum came up, she said, "You look shattered." I said, "Yeah, I haven't had a kip all night." She said, "Why?" I said, "I've been talking to Mrs. Battersby." She said, "Who's that?" I said, "No, some old woman." Now, I can't remember it now, but that's what I did then. And then,
Sorry, so Mrs. Battersby didn't exist, is that what you're saying? She was the ghost?
yeah.
Wasn't the landlady?
No, there's no landlady. It's a big house, about 12 bedrooms in it.
Right.
Dead cheap to stay there, because it was a wreck. My mum and dad went out
Were you
one
ill?
night.
Did you have flu at the
No,
time?
I had nothing like that. I just...
So you were sitting up, you were awake, and you were having a conversation with Mrs. Battersby.
What did she look like?
I can't remember. I can't even remember having the chat now.
Right,
But
so-
at the time, I was like, oh, she just doesn't shut up. Chatting all night.
So you don't remember this happening? Or you do remember it happening?
No, I remember that, like, if I see my mum now and I mention St. Ives, she'll go, "Oh yeah, Mrs. Battersby." She remembers coming in, because she was older than me, wasn't she? So, to
Who?
her, my mum.
Was she?
How old was Mrs. Battersby? She was older than both
She
of you.
was old, because I'm calling her Mrs. Battersby. If she was my age, I'd probably say, "Oh, it's Susan," or whatever.
Right, sure,
You
Miss
call older
Miss
people
Battersby.
by the surname, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, so she kept me
How
up
old
all
were you?
night. Dunno, I'm thinking of pictures at the wedding.
Why do you have to go through other things to just have a memory?
How old do you reckon you were?
I don't understand why you haven't got direct access to your memories.
How old do you reckon you were?
Your mum was older though, yeah?
You must have a vague idea of when this
I'm
event
thinking about
was.
it now, I'm thinking. I'm
Okay.
picturing the picture of myself at this wedding.
Okay.
And how old are you? What are you doing?
How tall were
I'd say I
you?
look about...
How were you?
I'd say I look about 7 or 8, looking at the picture.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So Mrs. Battersby is chatting away to you. You don't remember what she said, but you do remember having the conversation.
No, he doesn't remember it
I
at all.
don't remember the chat now.
Well, then
So-
why are you telling us?
It's
You
not
must
your
remember it
memory.
because you're telling us about
It's not
it.
your
Because it's a
memory.
memory, my mum's reminded me of it.
Yeah, but all it says is, this is so far removed. This is hearsay that your mum said you spoke to a ghost once, and you don't even remember the ghost.
Mrs. Battersby.
No,
Yeah,
you
no, but
remember
you
the
don't
name
remember
only because
her.
your mum reminded you of
In
it.
a court of law, if there was a ghost court, they go hearsay, thrown out of court.
Right.
You don't have a memory of Mrs.
No,
Battersby.
look, I know that when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I ate a beetle. I ate a beetle because I thought it was licorice. Now, I can't remember that now.
You can't remember that, but you know it happened because your mother told you it happened.
Exactly.
Right. But the fundamental thing is that we can believe you ate a beetle, right? Because that is something that could happen in real life.
But-
what we're questioning is that you spoke to a ghost.
What sort of beetle was it?
Just one of them standard beetles, just a little black shiny one.
Thing is, right, a couple of years ago, we were in the Ivy, and the food came, and there's a big blob of wasabi, right? It was like called an Oriental hors d'oeuvre, right? And I looked over at Karl, and he started going, drinking water. I said, "What was that?" I said, "I had that." I said, "That was a blob of wasabi." He said, "I thought it was one mushy pea."
That's a classy restaurant that they're serving one mushy pea.
Well, they do that, don't they?
Wow.
Small portions. It's all trendy, isn't it?
I love the fact that it's exactly the same thing. But they've swapped beetle for wasabi and licorice for pea. You see things, you see something, you
It's a
think...
good job you remembered that anecdote, though, because he doesn't.
Exactly, yeah. In years to come, we'll be going, I ate some wasabi once. Did you?
Yeah.
Well, according to Ricky, I did, yeah. I was in the Ivy. I thought it were mushy pea.
So hang on, I just want to go back to Mrs. Battersby because
What
you
other-
confidently said it was haunted. It was the most haunted place.
Yeah.
But you've got no real evidence for it because even you claim you had this encounter, you don't even remember it.
But you don't remember everything in life,
But you
do you?
supposedly had a conversation with a ghost.
I know, but I didn't know. When I was younger, I
But you
didn't think
remember
that
the
was a ghost.
specifics of an ant walking around.
Yeah, so you thought, so I see. If you'd have had the memory, it would just be a nice old lady on the end of your bed all night.
Right.
And then...
Then when I mentioned it, my mum was saying, "What do you mean, Mrs. Battersby? Who's Mrs. Battersby?"
right.
When you're a kid, you're not terrified, are you?
No.
Nothing scares
I mean,
you.
I'm beginning to think, who the fuck is Mrs. Battersby, I must admit. But
So, yeah, that was, but it was a weird place. I mean, there was no telly. All they had for sort of company was a calculator.
You are the strangest little man that's ever lived. Company, There goes Carl with his friend. What's his friend? Oh, it's a little...
It's a Sanyo 4197G.
I love that. That's amazing.
Oh, calculator, do that boobs thing again.
My mum and dad used to go out. I stayed in there.
Just shots of him with his calculator on the beach. Like that. Sunday. Maybe beautiful and the
4 plus 16, what will it be?
My only friend was the calculator.
No, but there's loads of things that have happened where people go, oh, that's weird. That goes to show that we've been around before, or...
No, it doesn't. There's none. I have no evidence for that.
Well, I told you that time when it happened to me when I was younger.
Go on.
Your life flashed before your eyes?
Well, it wasn't like a flashback, but it was close. It's the next thing next to flashbacks. It was, I was having a bath, right? And, my mum had, like, run the bath and that, and, she said, is that too warm? And I said something like, no, it's alright, it's a lot better than when I used to have a bath in that wooden bath in front of the fire.
Okay.
And she was like, what? And I said, well, it happened years ago. And she was a bit like, oh. And I can't remember that now, but she talks about it, and, that just goes to show that, because I was at an age when I wouldn't have known about wooden baths years ago in front of fires.
No, but you talk rubbish now. So all you were talking rubbish from an early age. Where's the problem?
No, but you can only talk rubbish if you're aware of knowledge.
Well,
I didn't know about wooden baths, so why would I have invented
But Carl,
that?
we've only got your mother's word on this, and she thought you might one day be a doctor.
Yeah.
So...
She put a rock with a feather on it to keep a parrot company.
Lest we forget.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Well, it's all bollocks.
So have you researched this? You've tried to find out when little Karl Mark 1 and his wooden bath, when he was...
No, I don't want to go there, because that's when you start digging out all sorts of trouble,
rubbish. It's rubbish.
No, it's not rubbish.
Well, it is rubbish.
What sort of stuff might you
There's no
discover?
scientific evidence.
No, just like I've said about family trees and that, don't be looking at them, because you're only going to find stuff you don't really want to know about. It's the same as that, innit? Leave it, let it be. Do you know what I mean? If your granddad was Einstein, you'd know about it because your family would be shouting about it. If he was a bad un, you go, oh, keep that quiet. So don't look at family trees, and it's the same. Don't be looking back in your past lives, because God knows what you've been up to. Well,
Karl and the wooden bath. Proof.
Karl Pilkington, live on air talking shit again.
one of my uncles, right, Tattoo Stan, he's just caked in them.
Right.
I don't think he's my proper uncle, but it's just like my dad's got.
Tattoo Stan.
No, my dad's got.
That's a province in Russia, isn't it?
My dad's got loads of mates who.
When you say he's not your proper uncle,
do you know how, like, when
Just a bloke who
someone
used to
comes
hang around
round,
with the
alright, Uncle Stan?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there was, my dad had loads of mates like that. There was John the Screw.
right?
So he either works in a prison or he likes to have sex.
Cabbie. Cab driver.
Okay.
There was Jimmy the Hat. I don't know what he
Jimmy
did.
the Hat.
Yeah. And,
Did he wear a hat?
No.
No.
There was Fred the Veg.
You sure he wasn't a relative?
Sorry.
Fred the Veg used to get us, like, big bags of potatoes and that.
Fred Veg, okay.
And there was Tattoo Stan. Right. And he was just caked in them, and I used to always look at him thinking, why have you done that? I must have only been, like, 6
I
or
suppose
7.
if you're born with a name like Tattoo Stan,
Exactly.
you're destined, aren't you,
were
really?
they like a 1950s gang?
I'm worried about... I'm worried about...
doing a bank job.
What was his name? The Hat? What was his name?
Jimmy the Hat.
I'm worried about Jimmy the Hat.
Yeah.
Not having a hat.
I don't understand
Are
it.
you sure he didn't have a hat?
Not when I met him.
Did he ever wear a hat?
I didn't see him that much.
Do you think it was a joke, like, when your mate's sort of like, 8 foot and huge, you call him Little John or Tiny? Do you think...
Well, the fact that he never wore
Yeah,
a
they
hat.
went, hold on, I've noticed something about Jim. Go on. No hat. And I go, oh, true, let's call him Jim the Hat.
Jimmy the Hat, yeah. But my Uncle Stan, he had, like, loads of them. He did them himself.
Oh dear.
And it was always that thing.
What was it things like?
He had, like, the
cross.
cut here one.
Cut here,
on
made
the
in
neck.
Britain.
And if you're going to do them yourself, I'd say at least make sure you're sort of a good drawer.
Yeah.
And don't do it in the mirror so it comes out backwards.
Well, that was the other thing. But, like, I remember he did, names were alright. He had, like, all his kids' names down his arm. And,
what were they called?
Yeah.
oh, God, it's...
Tattoo Stan Jr.
Yeah.
And,
Paul shits to bed.
I'm trying to...
Oh, Wobby Kate.
yeah.
But he had...
Frankie never amounts to anything.
Oh, God.
So he had like,
Johnny, I don't think he's mine.
so he did all this, I don't even know why I'm telling you about tattoos.
No, nor do I, Carl.
Have I told you about, my Uncle Alf, who was a cobbler?
No.
I'm sure I told you about him. He's the one who, he lived in like a bedsit, and he had 2 tellies. He had like one that the sound didn't work on, and one that the picture didn't, but both together, it worked.
Oh, right, okay.
So as long as he was watching the same channel on both, sound came out of one telly, and he'd watch the picture on the other.
Brilliant.
And he slept in like a rubber dinghy, right? But he was...
Whoa! You can't just let that slide. Why did you in a rubber dinghy?
He just liked boats and stuff, and he sort of...
Yeah, I like boats, but they're better on the water. Beds are better to sleep on. Boats are better to sail on.
Well, he just had it in there. It's a bed sit. It was really tight space.
Boat sit.
He's got this.
He moved into a dinghy sit.
He's got this dinghy, so he's thinking, well, rather than it get in the way, I might as well use it.
Yeah.
Right? But he was a cobbler, and he used to like repair like my shoes and that, right?
Yeah.
But he'd always sort of overdo them. Right, so
What do you mean?
like
Fancy.
do you know like Pimp My Ride on MTV?
Yeah.
Because he does up shoes, he'd go mental on them.
What do you mean? There was the stereo.
Yeah.
Well, no,
There was horns.
It sounded
Here
Go
comes
faster
Carl
stripes down the
yeah,
side.
yeah. Here comes Mr. Pilkington. He's got the fastest shoes in the land.
No, it just makes shoes that would last forever. So instead of putting like one sole on, he'd put about 5 on. So it looked like one of them built-up shoes that you never see. He'd just put loads of stuff on. They'd last forever, but they did.
But they look like orthopedic shoes.
Yeah, yeah. It just like suddenly I was like 6'7" whenever he'd sort of sorted my shoes out. But he's a cobbler, and you know it's work. That's always there for you, isn't it?
I suppose so.
Did I tell you the time when the doctor said I was going to die?
All right, keep talking.
Right, ages ago, must have been about 15, right? And at lunchtime there was this. We used to have a choice of stuff to do at lunchtime, right? We used to have like a burger place that had an arcade machine in it, right? So we used to go there and play on that and have a burger. Or there was this baker's, right, that my mum worked at, and did great cakes and stuff, right? So she used to like bring some home and that, but she couldn't always bring them home every night because, you know, they'd cost money, and she used to get them for free. And they used to say they'd rather chuck them away than give them to the staff because there's a chance that the cream might be off.
Right.
Right, so they used to chuck them round the back. So I used to go round the back with my mate and eat a load.
Brilliant. Scavenging, eating out of bins.
No, it wasn't out of bins, they were still in trays, but they just stacked them up near the bins, right? So this got out, I mean, it used to be chocker. Once the school found out, everybody used to go there, and it'd be like, well, have a cake.
Headmaster crawling through, fighting the kids off.
Right, so I'd have, you know, you'd just eat, I don't know, 6 jam donuts or something, and then you'd spend your dinner money on the arcade machine.
Brilliant.
Right? So it was a good afternoon, really, right? So you'd do that, and this one day I must have had 6 or 7 jam donuts, a few Congress tarts.
What's a Congress tart?
I love them. I can't get them in London, right? So I'd have some of them.
And if anyone can get a Congress tart for Karl in London, please let him know.
So anyway, this day, that was just a normal day. Do you know what I mean? You'd once or twice a week, you'd have a load of cake.
In your life,
Yeah, a
So
normal
anyway-
day in your life. Were the frog boys there with the webbed hands and the big heads?
So-
and the horse in the settee? Yeah.
But the day after one of these days, I had really bad cramp in my belly. Right? I was like in agony, could hardly walk. So I said to my mum,
You could hardly stagger to the free cakes.
So, I was in absolute agony. I said, I don't like doctors, but you'll have to get a doctor in 'cause I don't know what it is, I can't walk. She gets the doctor round, I won't say his name, but he said, well, doesn't look like he's got long left.
Blimey.
So I was a bit like, hang on a minute, I've only had a few cream donuts.
Yeah.
My mum was panicking.
Sure.
He went, my dad came in from work, she said, oh, something's really bad with Karl, I think it's serious, you know, the doctor said he ain't got long left. So he said, what, he said that and just left? So he said, yeah. He said, I'll have to call him then. So he called him up, said, what's all this about, you know, Karl hasn't got long left, how long's he got? So he goes, oh, I was only messing. He's just had some bad cream. Can you believe that?
Well, the thing is,
I like the fact your mum didn't ask any questions.
I know.
She didn't
but
go
she
into
doesn't.
detail. Well, can you explain more, Doctor? No, I got a shoe off.
But she doesn't. She doesn't like talking.
you know, I don't want to diss you or your family, but I imagine if I was there, I'd have known the doctor was joking.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, I sound very arrogant there, but I imagine he went, what's he done? Yeah, I had about 6 cream cones. Oh, right. Oh, wow. He hasn't got long to live then. I'll see you later. That's what I think the doctor did.
Yeah. Just like the idea your mum just let him go.
Yeah.
Terrified, thinking, well, I'm not going to probe him. He's that's it then.
Dad comes in. Hi, honey, I'm home. Anything happened? The doctor said Carl's gonna die and then left. Did he? I'll call him.
And can I just say that I really look forward to this show. Like, you know, I get, oh great, we're gonna do a show and we're gonna play some tracks we like and have a laugh. But now it's, I'm looking forward to meeting Karl.
Of course.
Honestly, I come in and I see his face and then I go, alright, and I'm, you know, just great, like just a little friend. Do you know what I mean? You know when a kid comes on to play with him and you go, oh, can I come out to play? And it's like the little friends. It's like that with Karl.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
because we don't see him in the week, you see. We deliberately stay away from him in the week so that he'll be fresh to us.
It was, go on.
You start off friendly, like you did today, and as soon as Steve turns up, you start getting nasty and saying things about my little bald head.
No, I said, look, okay, right, listen, let me explain. Karl was making the tea, and you know those bins, the sort of like a round sort of Metal Mickey type bin that you can take off the thing? I went, oh, that would make a good little helmet. It would make it look like Metal Mickey, because it's the same shape as his head.
Sure.
Right? And I put it on, and
So far, so good, Rick. No problem there. That's just two mates having a laugh.
Right.
You're putting a bin on another man's head.
Right, right. So I put it on, and the swing bit, through gravity and the angle, swung and hit him in the nose.
Sure.
Right? He went, ow! And I went, I said something like, it's alright.
Yeah, of course, because you were being amused.
Yeah, I said, it's alright, don't worry.
Yeah.
And he went, no, I've just washed my hair.
Yeah.
That annoyed me.
That did annoy you, sure.
Because there was lots of, like, shit and coffee and horrible gunk on
In his
the
hair, or?
No, in in the inside of the bin.
Sure.
But what annoyed me was he's hardly got any hair.
Let's be honest, he looks
So-
like Moby.
Yeah, so I said, I took the bin off.
Yeah.
And I was having a laugh, and I thought, you
ruined my
twat.
fun is what
Do
you
you know what I
thought.
mean? I said, what's your hair? I said, we could do that now in 30 seconds.
Yes.
And he looked at me like I was in the wrong.
I know. Rick, that annoys me about
I
him.
know.
That doesn't annoy
Yeah.
me about him. But otherwise, he's like childlike.
Yeah,
You know, in so
he's
many other
great.
ways. He doesn't understand that he's hurting your emotions and your
Yeah,
feelings. Rick.
but also, right, we were playing football, so come and play football, right, and so we were playing
Was that just in the office, or?
Yeah, just in the
Right,
office
yeah.
before you came, right, as well. And, we were sort of kicking it back and forth, and I started kicking it a bit hard. And, but he was quite good. I said, this is great, right? And, we finished anyway, because we thought we'd break something. And, I went, I bet you were quite good at football, weren't you? And I actually thought he looked like quite a natural, you know, I thought he'd be good, he's from the north, and I thought that's all he'd have. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right? And he went, I said, I suppose you're quite good at football, and he turned, the quickest flash, I went, I've scored once. Right? He said, and that's because I was being chased by a bee. And I went, save it!
Yeah.
He went, no, I said, please save it, because I want to tell Steve that. No, you can continue now.
Please tell us the rest of the story. You've scored a goal once
Well, you
because you've been chased by a bee.
Yeah, you've done it now, really. I was on the,
There must be more to that story, man.
I was in the school team. I wasn't that good as a kid at football, to
Right.
be honest. Mainly down to, I think it's because my dad wasn't into football.
Right.
I think that's the way it works, and if your dad's into it, then you could be a footballer when you're older,
Sure.
Yep.
because you're into it. And, so I was in the school team because I got on with the other lads. They let me in the team.
Popular guy, yeah. Sure.
And, yeah, I was stood there doing nothing, because I didn't really know what to do. I never knew which way I was meant to be shooting.
Yeah.
Got all that messed up.
Yeah,
I just stood there, right, and with my hands behind my back, and something landed on me, on like this part of my thumb.
you can't just point, it's radio.
It's this bit here.
Right, yeah.
The
base of
fleshy
your thumb,
bit, the
yeah.
fleshy bit of the
Fleshy
thumb, yeah.
And I thought, oh, what's that? And I looked down, and
It
it was
was
a
a
bee.
thumb. Oh, it was a bee, yeah.
It was a bee on me. So I start running,
Yeah.
try to get away from it, and bees, actually something interesting about bees, more chance of getting stung by a bee in windy weather than any other sort of weather.
That's incredible.
Anyway, so I'm running away.
And he said there was no more.
Extraordinary. I've already learned many things. You're being chased by the bees.
So
Windy.
I'm running.
It's on your thumb, is it still on your thumb now?
It's sort of gripping onto me like a stag beetle.
Clever.
I love it. Oh,
Or a bee.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm running, and I'm running towards, like, the goal.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And the ball comes to me.
Yes.
Wallop, get it in.
Brilliant. What happened to the bee though? Did it sting you?
They die, don't they?
I mean, ultimately it died, sure, but at that particular moment,
I mean,
did it sting you?
this was probably about 20 years ago, so I imagine...
No. Once a bee stings you.
So did it sting
Yeah, but did it sting you?
Yeah.
Right, that was the question.
When did it sting you?
When I was playing football.
Carl, do you mind me asking, you say you're on the school football team. Was there just 11 boys at your school?
Listen, Carl. All I mean is, at what point in this story did the bee sting you? Straight away?
After
Or...
half time.
Play a record, man.
What does your mum call
She's never sort of brought it up with me. What do you mean, what does she call it? Even when I was a kid, she didn't give it a name. It's just, even now.
What did she call yours then, when if you had, Mummy, I got a...
She didn't.
What, you never discussed?
Why?
If you had a pain?
No, just get on with it and that.
What did you say if you wanted to go to the toilet when you were little?
I just say, I'm just nipping to the toilet.
No, when you were 3, you didn't say, alright, Mum, I'm just nipping to the toilet, get me fags ready when I come out, I'm dying for it.
I never gave it a name.
What do you mean? You never said, what, so how did you let your mum know I wanted to go to the toilet?
I think, well, we hadn't moved, we lived in the same house for ages, so I knew where the toilet was and stuff, and I just like
Not when you were 2!
Well, I honestly, I can't remember then, if I did have a name.
Spend a penny?
What do you say now?
Well, I don't have to announce it, I know where the toilet is.
You know, last week, and this would blow your mind, he came in, do you know what he bought? For himself, about 10 penguins. Who buys penguins still?
I know. Or wagon wheels.
Oh, I've never liked wagon wheels.
You not been a fan?
No, but I'm sorry about that. It's the Clash and Rock the Casbah. Talking about records, have I told you that time my brother-in-law, he was moving out of his place, and I think moving in with my sister, and I was about like, I don't know, 13, and so he was about, 30, and I moved in, and he brought round all, his records when he was storage to leave them at our house, right? And he had all these old sort of records, 50s and 60s records, no, I was right, and they put them upstairs, and I was looking through them, and it's just all like Elvis stuff and Beatles stuff, and there was a mate of mine who loved Elvis, okay, and he had loads of chemicals. Yeah, he had loads of chemicals, and I was into chemistry, and he said, "Swap me some chemicals for them." So I sort of nicked about 5 Elvis singles, and I got all these chemicals, and then the guilt just hit me. I just thought, well, he's going to notice that. And one night, I just came downstairs, and I confessed to my mum, and she went, alright, well, I won't tell him, but you've got to be good. And it's sort of like, I was just really, really good for a year. And then I remember, when I was about 18, my brother was talking about it, and he said, did you ever, play those records I left for you?
Brilliant.
He told my mum, he said, these are for Ricky. She just didn't tell me.
She was sharp, wasn't she?
She used opportunism there.
Oh, that's genius.
And, that was it. That's why I was good.
But you've never stolen anything since, have you?
No, I don't.
Except that spate of shoplifting after that, to teach your mum a lesson.
yeah. Well, I went round, and arson. No, I did. I just couldn't believe it. It was terrible.
I remember, I think all kids go through a phase of shoplifting. Well, and when I was going through it, I used to just little things, just like magic markers and magazines, Mars bars, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And one day, right, my mate Anthony, his mum called up my mum and said, I've got to meet up with you. I've got to have a word with you. And she said, what about? She said, I don't want to talk about it over the phone. So she goes, oh right, well, yeah, come round tonight then. So anyway, my mum sees me, she don't want to be in an awkward position and like be a bit embarrassed and what have you, so she sees me and she goes, right, Anthony's mum's coming round, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
So I go, oh god, I said, I've been nicking stuff. So she goes, like what? So, not big stuff, I've had a few calculators and Mars bars and stuff.
How many? I'll just work it out, hold on. Works out at 7.2 per day.
So,
how many calculators do you need?
So it was when that phase...
You failed maths, didn't you?
Everyone wanted a calculator, it was like a trendy thing, wasn't it?
Right, oh yeah.
In Manchester a couple of years ago, yeah.
So anyway, so I told her all this and I confessed to, like...
Computers will make it there one day.
Confessed to...
There's magic in the back of battery. Go on.
Confessed to nicking all this stuff. She comes round, she only wanted to borrow some money.
Brilliant.
She said, oh, I don't like asking, I was a bit embarrassed to ask you over the phone, but can I borrow 20 quid?
Oh, that's fantastic.
And there's me. Bloody...
That's great.
And it's similar sort of thing to yours.
And did you?
And he went, hold on, Mum, let's just work out the interest on that. Bank 10%. She'll owe you £4.40.
But you know why I'm not a sort of big fan of sort of Christmas and buying presents and that anyway, because I've had bad experiences in the past when, like, you know, buying stuff for people.
Go on.
You know, like when I was a kid and that, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you put a lot of thought into buying presents, don't you, when you're a kid? Because you know you haven't got that much money to.
How old are we talking?
About 8.
Right, okay.
Yeah. About 8, right?
So you look like you did, but you had hair, I assume?
Yeah, right. So 8 years old and that, I'm putting a bit of planning into it, thinking, oh, you know, what will my mum want, right? Now, my mum's a big fan of, gnomes.
Right, obviously.
Like gnomes.
She must be pleased how you turned out.
And fairies and stuff like that, right? Little elves and all that stuff, right?
Sure.
So I thought, right, I'll look for something that's a bit gnomish. Right. And there was
You
this
got
shop.
Noel Edmonds.
There was this shop sort of down the road that sort of sold a lot of tat, right?
Oh, good.
Sort of you know, one of them shops where everything's quite cheap. It's sort of they sell things individually that shouldn't be, like toilet rolls and that sort of thing.
They usually got everything's a pound. Now there's some that everything's 99p. Because a pound wasn't cheap enough.
They're undercutting the pound shop.
Yeah.
Go on.
So anyway, so I had a look in there, thinking, right, let's have a look, let's see if they've got any gnomes and that. And the closest thing they had, right, was this figure that's called a Victoria Plum. Right?
Victoria Plum, right?
Yeah, it's like a little.
No, Victoria Plum. Right, get it right.
It's like a woman gnome, right?
Okay.
So I thought, I shall love that, right? So save that. I think it was about £2, right? Invest in one of them, take it home and well chuff with myself and that, wrapping it up, pop it under the tree. Think I can't wait to see her face light up when she sees it.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you know, like when you're a kid, I bought that like 2 weeks before Christmas.
Sure.
Right? And do you know when you're sort of excited and you want to give someone a present earlier?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I sort of took my mum into this shop, right, and we're just walking about, and the Victoria Plum was sort of there on the shelf, and I said to her, I said, look at that up there, do you like that? She said, no, it's bloody horrible, right? So it's too late to go back.
You spent all your money.
It's money spent, it's wrapped, it's under the tree, right? I'm thinking, I can't believe it. So I said, no, that, you know, made sure she's looking at the right thing. I said, no, that little gnome woman, yeah, it's horrible.
Oh, no.
Yeah, right?
Oh, God!
Christmas Day comes, right? I open my stuff, right? She's about to open hers.
Sad.
This is like Dickens.
She opened. She opened hers and that, and she went, "Oh, that's lovely." That I said, "No, don't give me that." Do you know what I mean? You said it was horrible.
She was a liar.
Yeah,
Pretending for not wanting to hurt your feelings. She was a liar.
And that's why, you know.
But things have moved on.
What are you on about? Yeah, but you don't forget, do you?
I still don't know how this justifies you not buying your girlfriend of 11 years an actual gift.
Although that was quite touching.
Yeah.
Play a Christmas song, I'm welling up. You're concentrating. Don't put it all in at once.
Carl, chew. Chew before you swallow. Careful. Alright.
I used to suffer with that a lot.
What? Not chewing.
The amount of times I nearly died as a kid.
What? Forgetting to chew.
Choking.
Sure.
Mint Imperials. My mum stopped that.
Drinking them with water.
She'd have to hide them.
He's coming out of his shower, isn't he? He's happy Saturdays. He's miserable all week, and he's happy Saturdays, isn't he? Oh, look at him. It's like we get him weekends.
Yeah.
And he's just happy because we sort of spoil him, don't we? And he has Jaffa cakes and everything. We let him on the radio.
He has to go and live with his stepmom again the week.
Oh, no.
The ones who listen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Your girlfriend does, doesn't she? I imagine.
She's been away for ages.
I know.
I imagine she just switches off after a while.
But we love you, don't you? We're excited. We talk about you in the week, and we think you're great. So don't just think we're using you as
cheap comedy material. I'd hate you to think that, Carl.
Sexy,